Hey guys, this is Ryan Typhlosion37, coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, bringing you my draft analysis for WPL Season 7. I was in WPL Season 6. The playlists I'll probably link in the description unless I forget. I did end up making it to finals and losing on a 50% roll to Eli Noon, but I'm hoping I can win this season. I think I've got the team to do it. I really like this draft. So I don't want to waste time, I'm just going to get into it. Right off the bat, Celesteela gets picked. I had the 6th pick, Celesteela got picked 4th. The person who was 5th also would have taken it, so I wasn't getting Steela, unfortunately. So I decided to go with what I know, and bring Megalopony back to the team. If you guys watched my WPL Season 6, you know that Megalopony is a complete monster. I got 29 total kills with it last season. It was by far the kill leader. It was absolutely incredible. I love using this thing. Nothing switches in to return plus high jump kick because of Scrappy. It hits ghost types. The only thing that can switch in is like some bulky psychics like Slowbro or Uniclus. I'm pretty sure even like bulky things like Mandibuds have a chance to be 2-hit KO'd by high jump kick. This thing is absolutely insane. It gets dual priority with fake out quick attack as well. I really wish it got E-Speed so I wouldn't have lost finals last year, but E-Speed Megalop would be completely broken. It doesn't really have too much coverage, but it doesn't need it. This thing is probably my favorite Mega to use. I'm so glad I drafted this again. Round 2. I was looking at a couple different things, but I decided I wanted to try something new, and I grabbed an Necrozma from Tier 2. I kind of regret doing this because there was another Psychic type I ended up finding that I wanted more. It was Slowbro because it was in Tier 3. So I had a trade lined up of Necrozma for Raikou if someone else would have grabbed Raikou. But then Slowbro got taken, so we ended up canceling that planned trade. So I do still have Necrozma on the team, but I'm not really too mad about this because Necrozma is an absolute monster. Base 127 special attack, 107 attack, 97 HP, 101 and 89 defense and special defense. And even its speed, its lowest stat is 79, which is still good. Especially with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon move tutors, this thing's move pool is incredible. Brick Break, Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, Earth Power, EQ, Flash Cannon, Heat Wave, Hyper Voice, Iron Head, Knockoff, Night Slash, Photon Geyser, Outrage, Power Gem, Psychic, Psyshock, Psycho Cut. It gets dual screens, I believe, as well. Rock Slide, Shadow Claw, Signal Beam, Stone Edge, even Stored Power, and X Scissor. It does get Swords Dance and Calm Mind, as well as Rock Polish, and even Trick Room if I need it. This thing has way too much setup. It doesn't. Does it get Cosmic Power too? It does not get Cosmic Power. That would be completely broken. But this thing is just so versatile, and I love versatility in draft. It's just a lower tier Mew with better offensive stats. And its ability Prism Armor is just Mega Aggron's filter, essentially. So I'm taking less damage from super effective attacks, which is always good. I'm excited to use this thing. I'm hoping I can put in the work. And another returning member to the team. Sohan OP Jellison grabbed this tier list from another league and didn't really look over it. And said that changes would not be made. I don't remember if I mentioned it, talking about Necrozma, but Slowbro was in Tier 3, which is absolutely insane. It should never be there. I really wish I had drafted it, but I did get another steal. Another returning member from WPL Season 6 is Goodra, who was also in Tier 3 for absolutely no reason. I love using Goodra so much. It's an amazing Pokemon. 110 special attack, 150 SPDF, 80 speed, 90 HP, even 100 attack can be good. It does get Curse as well, if you want to do that, but mainly I'm going to be running Special. Draco, Dragon Pulse, Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Focus Blast, Ice Beam, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt. But it also has a good physical move pool: Superpower, Thunder Punch, Rock Slide, Power Whip, Outrage, even Focus Punch if I really need it, Fire Punch as well, EQ, Aqua Tail, even Dragon Tail for phasing. This thing is incredibly bulky. A lot of the time you can just throw on Assault Vest, even with like no bulk EVs, will still be living every hit. Even Acid Armor could be a potential set to boost my low defense. But mainly this thing is just going to be special, potentially offensive, potentially defensive. I've ran both many times. And I decided to grab another Pokemon from last season and get Donphan again. Now, this may be a potential Linoon setup target, but I don't believe anybody drafted Linoon this season, so I don't need to worry about that, because it kind of sweeps me. But Donphan, 120 base attack and defense. No, for some reason, anytime I fight people in leagues, they never expect offensive Donphan, even though it has an incredible move pool and offensive stats. It gets Earthquake, Facade, Fire Fang, Gunk Shot, Gyro Ball, Heavy Slam, Head Smash, Ice Shard, Knockoff, Play Rough, Poison Jab, Gunk Shot, Rock Slide, Seed Bomb, even Stone Edge, and Superpower. And it can also run some niche things like Bounce. I've ran Bounce for Heracross before. Counter could be useful. It does also get like Iron Defense and Iron Tail if I really need the extra power from Iron Head. Rock Tomb to lower speed. It does get Rock Polish as well to potentially sweep. It gets Thunder Fang, and of course it gets the best move in the game, Water Gun, which obviously nothing switches into a Specs Water Gun from Donphan. But I'm just gonna move on to Porygon 2. Nothing OHKOs a Porygon 2. I feel like even Mega Lopunny could potentially not OHKO a Porygon 2. This thing is incredibly bulky. 85 HP, 90 and 95 defense and special defense with Eviolite as well. It's absolutely insane. Even with no investment, its defenses are always going to be over 300. And 105 special attack is nothing to laugh at either. Offensive Porygon 2 I've ran before with either Trick Room or Agility. It does get Charge Beam to boost its special attack as well. And even Analytic, so you're hitting even harder. Trace is also an amazing ability, and so is Download, potentially getting a special attack boost. It does have Discharge, Tri-Attack, Ice Beam, even Magic Coat. I believe it gets dual screens, even though that's not too great without Light Clay. Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, Thunderbolt. It does get double status with T-Wave and Toxic. Zen Headbutt if I really need it, but I'm never going to be running that because special attacking is always better with P2. It gets Psychic and Psyshock anyways. Pain Split as well for potential recovery, but most of the time it's just going to be running Recover for safety. It does get Foul Play as well to just hit physical attackers harder with their own attack stat. But I'm really bad at talking. Okay, I'm just gonna move on. Originally I was wanting Zeraora as my fast electric type, but Jake took that. Jake actually sniped me multiple times. Coach of the Miami Mimikyus, so I hate him. But I ended up grabbing Thundurus Incarnate. I used Tornadus Incarnate last season, and I really enjoyed using it. It was really fun to use. But Thundurus Therian was already taken, but if it wasn't, I was leaning towards Incarnate anyways because it's faster. It may not hit as hard, but that doesn't matter too much to me. I do get Prankster Nasty Plot, Prankster Bulk Up as well. It gets Brick Break Crunch, Dark Pulse, Discharge Flash Cannon, Hammer Arm, Knockoff, I think I already said Nasty Plot, Psychic, Sludge Bomb and Sludge Wave, Superpower, Taunt, obviously Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, U-turn, Volt Switch, Wild Charge, and Prankster Thunderwave is extremely, extremely useful. This thing just hits hard, 115 attack, 125 special attack, and it's at 111 speed, so it's just above the base 110 speed tier, which is incredible. It doesn't get too much coverage, which I normally like, but it's definitely not lacking. The coverage it has could definitely hit pretty much anything. And at this point I was realizing I always like to have a Fairy Dragon Steel core and a Fire Water Grass core, and so far the only thing I had for either of those was Goodra for my Dragon Fairy Steel. So my next 5 picks were used to fill out those cores, and even though I waited a long time to get them, I think they ended up good. So I decided to grab Amoonguss next instead of trying to finish my Fairy Dragon Steel, because like all the grass types I liked were gone, and Amoonguss was the bulkiest one at this point. I did consider Decidueye for a potential baton pass, and after, I really wish I'd grabbed Decidueye, because after the draft ended, I realized that Speed Pass was allowed, which it should not be allowed. And I'm pretty sure Decidueye gets agility. I'm not positive about that. But baton passing, speed, and for example, Lopunny, Goodra, pretty much anything I drafted last round was absolutely terrifying because they can all be offensive monsters. So I really wish I had known about that because I definitely would have taken advantage of it. But Amoonguss definitely isn't bad. Base 114 HP lets it be bulky on both sides, even if its defenses are 70 and 80. But it also really isn't too weak with 85 on both of its offenses. And Sludge Bomb, Poison Spam is actually decently good, which I've seen people not realize. Like, just spamming Sludge Bomb and Giga Drain is really good against every type except Steel. But Hidden Power Fire can always be a thing, and obviously Spore is an extremely good move. The only thing that switches in is grass types, but they don't want to take a Sludge Bomb. So Clear Smog can be used to stop sweepers. Foul Play is also there on this as well to hit physical attackers. It doesn't really get too much move pool, like Seed Bomb, Sludge Bomb, Stomping Tantrum is just about it, but I mainly just obviously grabbed it for bulk instead of offensive. But if I really want to, it gets growth. So it gets ingrained too. But Regenerator bulky is what I'm gonna be running pretty much most of the time. It does get synthesis as well, and I believe Leech Seed. No, it doesn't get Leech Seed. That's annoying. Oh well. The final returning member from last season is Bisharp. I needed a Dark type, I needed a Steel type, and it was sitting in Tier 3. So I saw really no reason not to grab it. I liked using it last season. I didn't bring it too much, but when I did, I'm pretty sure it always got a kill at least once. I'm not positive about that. Defiant is a great ability, so Intimidators can't do anything to me really. It doesn't get too much move pool, mainly just like fighting Dark Steel moves. It gets Poison Jab as well, but that's not really going to help with too much. And yeah, that's pretty much all its offensive. I guess it also gets X Scissor, but it doesn't really need too much move pool because Dark Spam is really good, Steel Spam is really good, and Fighting Spam is really good. So having all 3 of those is nice. It does get Rock Polish, it also gets Thunder Wave, even gets Stealth Rocks, which I don't think I've been talking about. Donphan also got them. Are those my only 2 Rock Setters? No, Necrozma has them as well. Okay. But if you've noticed how I play, I normally don't focus too much on Velcro. I bring them when the matchup is good or when I just want to break through things. And normally, if I do that, I also have spikes, but I actually didn't draft a spiker this time. Because I just wanted to fill out my cores because I didn't focus on them as early as I normally do, but I wanted to finish my Fairy Dragon Steel core first, and there really aren't very many good fairies at this point. but Granbull was there in Tier 5, and I thought that was decent, because a lot of the time you see this in Tier 4, and there were really no fire or water types I wanted from Tier 4, or Tier 5, so I figured this would be the best way to fill out the cores. I've used Granbull before, and I actually really like it. It doesn't get recovery, but it is still pretty bulky with Intimidate, and it has 120 attack just like Donphan, so I can run offensive and surprise people. It gets like Play Rough, Earthquake, Crunch, Fire Punch, Outrage, Power Up Punch if I need it, Rock Slide, even if I'm going defensive, Seismic Toss is there. It gets Superpower and Thunder Punch as well. Thunder Wave to slow things down can be very useful. It gets Taunt. It gets Roar for phasing. I've ran a Rest Talk Curse, especially defensive set, before in a Tier 3 and below league. Granbull's actually my kill leader on the team in that, so I'm hoping I can put in work with it in a regular league. But at this point, I kind of already knew what I was taking for my last two, but I was deciding between Chandelure and Darmanitan for my fire type. And looking at my team and what I had planned, I figured grabbing another physical attacker would be better. Chandelure easily could have worked on this team as well, but I was also pretty weak to Dark and Ghost. My really only Ghost switch-ins were Lopunny, P2, and Bisharp, but any Ghost type that gets a fighting move or just HP fighting could pretty much destroy my entire team. So I didn't want to grab Chandelure as another Ghost weakness. Darmanitan, man, if this thing's HP and speed stats were swapped, it would be so much better because its HP is base 105 and its speed is 95. So it doesn't have speed base 100, which is pretty annoying, but it still has a massive 140 attack stat with sheer force. Like, nothing is switching into a Flare Blitz. Absolutely nothing. Even a bulky water type is taking so much damage. And I believe it gets Wild Charge. No, it doesn't. That's annoying. But bulky water types are really the only thing that can switch into this, because its Flare Blitz just hits so hard, and it does good Grass Knot if I really need it, but I have like base 35 special attacks that's doing nothing. Sheer Force Rock Slide can always hit hard, same with Zen Headbutt. It does get U-Turn and Superpower as well, so that can be definitely useful. If I really want to, I can run Belly Drum, but I don't see myself really ever doing that. It's way too risky because it's not bulky, and I don't believe it gets any priority either, and it's not quite fast enough to take advantage of the Belly Drum. And I don't have sticky webs on this team either, so that just really wouldn't work out. But I needed a tier 4, I needed a water type, I was looking at what's there, and I was looking at a couple different things, but ultimately I decided on Gastrodon, because it's really not too bulky, but it does have 111 HP with 68 defense and 82 Spadef. It does get Recover, which I like, and its only weakness is Grass, which Amoonguss times 4 resists, so I think they synergize pretty decently. It unfortunately doesn't get Regenerator, but it does get Storm Drain and Sticky Hold, both of which can be very useful abilities. This thing does get Clear Smog as well to stop setup. Earthquake and Earth Power, Scald, Ice Beam, Pain Split, Recover, even Rock Slide, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave. Obviously Toxic can always be useful, and it does get Memento if I really want to use that. But this thing is, again, like Amoonguss, just meant to sit there and take hits. And I did forget to talk about my Z-move users. I picked, I believe my captain is Thundurus, and then my offensive ones are Necrozma and Donphan. So I'm hoping I can put in work with those. Z-moves help them out a lot. Nobody will really expect Z-Donphan, so if I bring it, I think that can be useful. But I rambled on for way too long like I always do, so I'm just going to stop this now. Thank you guys for watching.